Across the globe, the approach to travel is shifting. Shifting to travel that embraces the healing power of a destination, where travelers seeking solace find balance through a spectacular wellness experience. This need for solace is translated into a £500 billion business worldwide and is growing more than twice as fast as any other tourism overall. So what does this mean for Sri Lanka? What does this mean for you? Thanks to Sri Lanka's rich natural assets of landscapes, culture and heritage, we couldn't be better placed to capitalize on this major global movement. If you are in the business of wellness or wellness tourism, join us, the Sri Lankan Wellness Association and the Export Development Board, as we present Wellness, the New Paradigm in Sri Lanka Tourism, a series of live and interactive webinars curated by wellness industry specialists. From understanding what wellness truly is to the current change in travel trends and how to market to the wellness traveler, let us help you understand the new opportunities for your business.
Hello everybody, I'm very pleased that you have decided to join us on this journey as we untap and explore the potential of wellness tourism in Sri Lanka through this three-part interactive webinar series that commences today. We are indeed fortunate to have some very reputed panelists led by Sri Lanka Tourism Chairperson Kimali Fernando, the Chairman of Jetwing Symphony, Iran Kure, and our ardent supporter and the founder of Wellbeing Escapes, Stella Porti from London, and of course a wellness expert of international stature, Dr. Franz Linzer, who will in all probability present the keynote oration based on the comprehensive study commissioned by the Export Development Board. Along with them and joining us in this timely discourse will be other local and foreign wellness experts, practitioners and enthusiasts. Before we begin though, let me give you a brief understanding as to who we are, the Sri Lanka Wellness Tourism Association. We began on an initiative taken by the Export Development Board, who chose to include wellness tourism as a part of its national export strategy about a year ago, thus resulting in the establishment of a wellness advisory committee which combined the Western medicine segment and the indigenous segments, notably our own Ayurveda and Helavedakama medical lineage. The Sri Lanka Wellness Tourism Association now has the hope and intention to develop all the different elements of the wellness mix and promote the wonderful opportunities that are at a provincial and national level throughout Sri Lanka and certainly in the international markets. Once again, I thank you for joining us in this journey of wellness and what could be a beautiful occupation and a great opportunity for Sri Lanka tourism. I look forward to further discussing and sharing your views and thoughts when I join the panel at our last session on Friday the 10th of July. Until then, enjoy the world of wellness, the new paradigm of Sri Lanka tourism. Thank you.
Hi everyone, warm welcome to the webinar series on wellness tourism. Our webinar theme today is a new paradigm for Sri Lanka tourism. We are looking forward to an amazing webinar series and thank you very much for joining us. Let's explore the sector's potential and discuss how we can position Sri Lanka as a premier global wellness destination. This three-part series is designed to educate and inspire action at these challenging times for Sri Lanka's wellness tourism sector. Basically, we'll be having three series, and the series one will be focusing on the wellness tourism, the solution, to discuss a little bit about what is wellness tourism is and current state of Sri Lanka as a wellness destination, and Sri Lanka's USPs as a wellness destination, and why this sector is really important for Sri Lanka. We would be also discussing the opportunities and future of wellness tourism and a little bit touching some details about sustainability and social responsibility, as these are priorities for wellness tourists. In session 2, we'll be diving a little deeper into the subject matter, how we can position Sri Lanka as the next global wellness destination. Session 3 would be discussing how to create an action plan. So we will be starting the session with some breath work and ending with a lovely meditation session. So we would love to have a little bit of different feeling altogether, feeling more relaxed and feel how we usually feel in our wellness world. So firstly, I would love to say I'm super blessed to be here today with the industry experts. And let me introduce our panelists. Kimali is the chairperson of Sri Lanka Tourism. She's heading the government 4 main tourism entities. We have Dr. Linza, he's the founder and CEO of Linza Hospitality, and Hiran Kure, the current chairman of Jet Twin Symphony PLC. Stella Potti, the founder of Wellbeing Escapes with us today. Dr. Sam, the founder of Sen Wellness Clinic in London, and also he's the founder of Sen Wellness Sanctuary in Sri Lanka. To start with, we would like to invite Sam. Would you guide us with some breath work that will help us to bring some collective consciousness and to create a lovely space for our discussion today? Over to you, Sam. Sam, you have to unmute.
I think
you're fine now. You're fine now.
Good. Good morning, and I'm Bon from London, and delighted to be here. And I want to first of all say thank you to Export Development Board and the Tourist Association organizing this event. So it's really timely. So well-being and health is everyone's priority. So I thought, yeah, sure, we'll get some breath work going, and I think it's really nice way to everyone to come to the space and connect themselves. And also it's Friday, it will energize everyone. I also want to say a few things about the breath work. You know, it has great benefits. Start with it regulates the oxygen level, balance the nervous system, you know, address the emotions like anxiety, fear, time like this. So let's get to it straight away. And everyone comes sit properly and upright posture and relax into the positions and ground yourself and disconnect to the earth and feel the all parts of the body is relaxing from feet upwards. The legs keep moving upwards, the knee, thigh, hips, pelvis, the lower back, the chest. Feel the breath, expansion, contraction, just completely relax into it. Feel your upper chest is relaxing, your neck and shoulders. Smile a bit. We hold our attention in our jaws, consciously or unconsciously. And your forehead is relaxed. So just feel the relaxation in all parts of the body. Bring yourself to the right mental space. You know, if there's any thoughts or any tension in your nervous system, drop it to the earth. Like your body and your mentally also relax. Now feel the breath. In breath and out breath. Let the breath come naturally. Let breath out naturally, effortlessly. Just keep going a few times, tune into your own breath. Just be mindful about your breath. You're very conscious about your breath in and out. Now let breath to expand. So we deepen our breath. In breath and out breath. Give a little bit more length and space between in breath and out breath. Mindfully. Expand the breath a bit more. Be mindful. Now drop much more deeper into the breath. Let breath now. In breath. Hold the breath. Out breath. And hold it. So keep going on your own pace. Be mindful about the 4 parts of the breath. In breath. Hold. Out breath. And hold. Trying to equal parts of the 4 breath. So in breath 20 seconds, deep. Hold it 20 seconds. Out breath 20 seconds. And hold it. Keep going on your own pace. Be mindful. Few times. As you breathe in and out, just be mindful about any sensation in your body, any tension, any stresses. Drop into a much more deeper mental space. Be mindful about the 4 parts of the breath. Few times. Now slowly return to your normal breath. Just notice any sensations, how you feel at the beginning and now, being centered, clear, energized a bit. With the right intention, this series will create an incredible opportunity for Sri Lanka, creating a wellness destinations, helping people, more importantly, those who come and seek help from us. And just relax, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sam. We really feel energized and centered. Thank you for the lovely session. We are moving to the series, the questions, and talking to the panelists. Dr. Franz Linzer, it's really lovely to see you again. We met sometimes back in Sri Lanka, and looking forward to welcome you again. I guess you must be joining from Austria, from the hills. It's truly a pleasure to have you with us on this forum today. Dr. Linzer, how would you define wellness tourism in the most simplest and easiest way for the audience to understand? Like, there are a lot of newcomers to the wellness. How would you define wellness tourism? Dr. Linzer, would you unmute? Yes.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you very much. I'm really honored to be part of this high caliber round of experts and the many people that think it is worthwhile, about 200 people, I guess, who think it is worthwhile joining us and exchanging our mutual experiences. Wellness tourism is a kind of tourism that implies personal engagement of those who go for it. People more and more tend to go for a change in their lifestyles. They don't just want to be simply entertained, as it used to be probably 20 years ago, but lots of serious lifestyle issues, not to mention COVID, of course, even before that, but now it becomes more intense with all these developments. People are ready to go on vacation for serious changes in their lifestyles, all the way from overwork, overstressed, overweight, and so forth.
Sure. So you have been visiting Sri Lanka and you had some wellness experiences as well. How do you see emerging wellness destination, Dr. Linzer?
Well, I was very privileged to be there twice, and I spent quite some time there, I have to say. And I think the experience that I had in Sri Lanka, just for the place, for the island, was extraordinary. You know, we just saw in this introductory little movie, and I couldn't add anything else. You know, from a European perspective, we talk about, you know, let's say the charm of a tropical island, the climate, you know, a country being so colorful with landscapes, of biodiversity, which is probably unique and not even known anymore in Europe in many places. But also the omnipresent culture, religion, diversity of religions, and of course this Ayurvedic background, which is like the big asset that Sri Lanka has when it comes to wellness tourism. I had personal experiences. I was also privileged to have a couple of days of Ayurveda, generously invited by the Sita Lepa Group, Mr. Heti Gora, but also at Barberine, Cinnamon Hotels, Jetwing, Tree of Life, Tree, Santani, Kaya, you name them. So I really had a chance to go through a variety of places. I was visiting also, by the way, 4 major private hospitals, just to make sure that we can get that message across here more of what is happening in this medical sector. So huge potential that I saw, and very happy to discuss with all of you guys on the panel what we can do with this.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Linzer, for your thoughts. Moving to Stella. Hi, Stella. Thank you very much for initiating this association. It was your idea, recommending for us to have an association. Here we are today. We have come together as an association to elevate Sri Lanka as a wellness destination while supporting each other and building a wellness community. You are a pioneer in the wellness travel industry. You believe that wellness holidays inspire people to live healthier and happier lives. Would love to hear your thoughts on this, Stella.
Oh, okay. So good morning. Thank you for, or good afternoon for you. Thank you for inviting me to be part of this. It's a huge privilege, and like Fran says, to share the panel with such esteemed colleagues. So yes, I mean, you know, wellness is a very big deal personally for me. I started Wellbeing Escapes 15 years ago. Based on the idea that people were looking for, or would be looking for, something different from a holiday. And as Franz mentioned, it's much more than being entertained. You know, a few years back, you invited me, the EDB invited me to come and visit your beautiful country. And similar to Franz, I went around and I had the privilege to travel around and visit some of the best wellness resorts in Sri Lanka. and get to know some of the very committed and passionate people behind the resorts, you know, all the same resorts, Jet Wings, Sidalepa, Barberin, Santani, Sen Wellness. You know, my brief by the UDB was to see if Sri Lanka and the resorts were marketable as an international wellness destination. And my answer then and now is a resounding yes, because I have been lucky enough in my work to visit many destinations and many wellness retreats, and I was very satisfied and happy with your product, and I think you have huge opportunities in wellness.
Thank you, Stella, for your thoughts. Going back to Dr. Lindsay, you have done a research, like a detailed assessment for Sri Lanka wellness tourism. Would you like to share some highlights with us from your report?
Very happy to do so. We've been working with EDB. EDB initiated that whole idea and also was very helpful in finding the right funding partners. We did the first part of our studies with MDF from Australia, and the second, third and fourth report with support of the EU delegation to Sri Lanka and the Maldives. And I think only this is necessary to say, otherwise this would not have been possible. Now, the core idea of this whole study over the last, let's say, year or year and a half now, was, and I think the idea was pretty smart from those who initiated, to get a professional view from outside. That, I think, is very interesting to know, to have somebody look at that whole situation through the international lens, so to speak. So it was our duty to collect data, first and foremost, collect data, both in the destination, and I think that was pretty new to the whole approach, is also collect very detailed data in the source markets. And the source markets we were looking at were in Central Europe and Northern Europe. So Austria, Germany, Switzerland, Belgium, Netherlands, Sweden, and Denmark. So quite a bit. We're talking about 150 million people, all of which I would say with more or less enough money to actually afford such a vacation and ready to travel, as we know, the world. Then we had to visualize, I would say, both Sri Lanka's assets, which were mentioned already to some extent, but also the gaps, to really list what needs to be done first and foremost in order to be successful. And then I think also it was important that we could show, due to our and my personal engagement in the Global Wellness Institute and Global Summit, to show what, from an international wellness point of view, Sri Lanka can benefit from. And finally, we were defining certain products which we would recommend the Sri Lankan stakeholders in the wellness tourism industry to offer to the potential customer, and finally defined a marketing strategy. And this is about ready now. We will be handing in that last report in about 2 weeks' time, and we will do it again on time.
Thank you, Dr. Lindsay. Thank you for all your work that you have done.
My pleasure.
Just for the audience, want to say that we are taking up chats and you can shoot your questions. We will direct it to our panelists. Moving forward, Kimali, it's a real privilege to have you on this panel. Wellness has become the hot topic in travel. It has become no longer an option. Everybody is like really wanting to get experience and then start certain businesses, and then we look at as a destination. So in your opinion, how important for us to move forward as a wellness destination following the pandemic?
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation. With regards to wellness, I think a lot by the EDB and the panelists before, some of your panelists before, have gone through the document that has been produced last year, I think it was. From Sri Lanka tourism perspective, I can assure you that wellness tourism is one of the top priorities moving forward. We see a clear opportunity before COVID, absolutely clear opportunity from, if you like, the regulator perspective, as well as wearing the hat of the promotion perspective. I will just address two areas. One is from the regulator perspective. We need assistance from the health ministry to get the regulations sort of passed in parliament and at least gazetted. So I believe I had meetings with them, the health ministry staff, and there are some delays in trying to get it done. They have already got the guidelines done, and we are assisting them even with the translations and so on to try to expedite it. Personally, and my team and I, we are not experts in the guideline, so we rely on them to tell us what guidelines there should be to ensure there's kind of regulation. And when somebody talks of Ayurveda in Sri Lanka or markets or brands, that the consumer knows what they're getting. So I think from that regulator perspective, we need to work together with health ministry. I have got an appointment for next week to meet the new secretary of the health ministry. So that task is either with EDB, who would like to take that job over, or myself. One of us would have to follow through and get that done to assist the first part of, from our perspective. With regards to the promotion perspective, clearly there is so much to be done from our end, from the government's perspective, to do for the industry. I mean, the fact that the country is compact, that we have so much to offer, you have already mentioned, so I don't want to repeat that. And also, if you look at the competition, you just even research on Google where we are, you will get Kerala, you will get Thailand, and so on. We are not anywhere near where we should be. So, I mean, promotion on wellness, perhaps we are at zero, to tell you the truth. We have to accept this. We are at zero. So in a way, it's good, because then we can start and we can do a good job. And then we can also get experts to help us to do it, because we don't have expertise actually to do it. With regards to the need for trained staff and, you know, to hype up this to something that the youngsters want to get involved is something also I think it's important, and I addressed that with the health ministry. I mean, it's a 4-year program to be a doctor of Ayurveda, and they have a diploma and so on. But I was suggesting, I'm not the expert, but I was suggesting whether they can have like shorter courses, maybe online courses, where, you know, you get engaged and maybe even work with a foreign sort of university or whatever. So, you know, to get the engagement. Even personally, I would like to do the course myself. So I think a lot of medical students and doctors would like to do it by themselves, and people are like more willing, more wanting to. And I think our way of living, what we eat, most of us are vegetarian. How we have survived COVID and everything, we have so much to share to the world. And I think that I am privileged actually to have this opportunity. I'm absolutely committed to wellness, and I think we can make an absolute profound shift in tourism, and to get the type of client who's looking for an experience, how to improve himself, how to on meditation and yoga and all that. But also I think it's important, and maybe I would like to hear the experts' view. How do we differentiate ourselves from Ayurveda in India? And then it's like important that we use like maybe Helavedakama, we need to sort of make it our own. And this is something I don't know the answers, but I'm happy to hear your views.
Thank you, Mali. Ayurveda remains one of the main components of wellness offerings. At the same time, as you mentioned, you are a strong believer on Helavedakama. You also do have other extended wellness offerings such as Hela Yoga, meditation, forest bathing. So there are a lot of other offerings that we can have, and there is a demand in the international market. So do you see any plans that we have now, or are you planning to develop these segments with Ayurveda and the rest of the wellness offerings?
Absolutely. Now the I think the paper that you have done, the document that I'm going through, which I got a copy yesterday. So I am actually going through these 3 documents because for me also I'm learning about it. So we will seek expert advice, frankly. In terms of the regulation side, I have asked the industry. We have set up a industry a committee, if you like. So we got the industry, some of the stakeholders who came, Siddha Lepa, the usual, some of the names you mentioned, they came over for meetings with us, and I asked them to give us advice on their views on these 3 documents, and also on advice on the guidelines that the ministry has made. So I like the industry to tell me also what to do. And then we will get expertise and go with whatever is required to do, basically, in terms of product offering. I know the private sector will be really good at delivering, I think. We just have not given them the regulation. We have not given them the promotion that we need to do, and sort of have a proper branding and all that. And also the human resources, I think we have also not given. That is required. Look, we are at 0, and Sri Lanka Tourism is ready to do whatever is required to get this job done. And happy to work with all of you guys, actually.
Thank you very much. Such a blessing to have you in this same objective, Kimali. Moving to Hiran, you're truly an inspiration for Sri Lanka tourism industry with your green initiatives and sustainable and community give back projects. Well, sustainability and wellness go hand in hand. How does Jetwin Hotels contribute to Sri Lanka wellness tourism? Hiran.
Well, we've also been in this field for quite some time now, at least a little over 20 years. And I must say, the godfather of Sri Lanka's Ayurveda tourism or wellness tourism is late Sudhana Rodrigo. Late 1980s, early 1990s, he told me at Barberine Beach Hotel in Beruvala, Puta, this is the field that you must get into. And so he put this thought into me when I was with him with my father. And we started a small Ayurveda in Negombo. And that led to 4 of our hotels focusing on Ayurveda since then. We now have Ayurveda doctors in Jetwing Vilvena, Lighthouse and Kaduruketa. And we were the first to offer an Ayurveda tour so that you can start off in Negombo, stay for a few days, start the process, and then you continue to Sigiriya, you continue to, Kaduruketa, and then of course end up back on the beach in Gaul. So this was beginning to do well, of course, and then the sad incidents in April, and then again the COVID put a stop to most of these activities. But I'm sure these will continue to grow in the future once these restrictions are lifted. Similarly, we are now studying Helavedakama, which I think is a great addition to the already existing Ayurveda that we offer the Western and the Japanese traveler. By the way, we must not forget Japan when we talk of wellness tourism. Next to Germany, I think Japan is probably the most important market for us at the moment. So we mustn't only focus on Western Europe, but we also must think of the East and cater to the needs of those travelers as well. And so we have marketed Sri Lanka very much in Japan, and we were one of the leading operators. We even had a small office in Ebusu in Tokyo promoting Jetwing Ayurveda programs in Japan. Unfortunately, we had to close down because of the COVID, as it was very costly for us to have an office in Tokyo, even though it was a very small office. Still, we had to close it down. But I think that's an area that's going to do very well in the future. There are lots of Japanese who are studying Ayurveda and even practicing Ayurveda. But as I said, Helavedakama is something that is very traditional, very unique, only to Sri Lanka. I mean, I rather, as we know, came from Kerala and India, and this is our own practice, our own way of healing and cleansing and all of that. So we are currently studying that. In fact, on Monday, I am going to Velavaya with a Helaveda Kama and a anthropologist to start a bigger program over there. So we are completely committed to wellness, well-being, and of course, Helaveda Kama now. Thanks, Nilusha.
Thank you, Hiran. That's really lovely to hear. These steps have been taken, initiatives, and looking forward to check out these new options at Kanduruketa. Sam, this is to you, this question. Wellness travel is changing, and travelers are becoming more conscious of the meaningful holidays, transformational journeys, and what are the global trends that currently impacting our wellness sector, and how can Sri Lanka capitalize on these opportunities? What are your views on this?
Thank you, Nilusha. I think when I think about the global trends, and obviously we need to touch the COVID-19, you know, what's the situation now? I think people are really going through a little very hard time and very difficult times, and struggling in many ways, you know, physical level to mental level, and most importantly, emotional level. And in lockdown, it really has caused a lot of stress and anxiety and trauma. Deep sense I get from my patients here, and also our work we do with the global community with the online. So and also you know, with the lockdown, you know, people freedom has restricted. So I think many people wants to sort of, you know, when the lockdown is eased off, and many people wants to go to a place and work on their health and well-being. It has become really prioritized, and there's a limitation, obviously, being in a Western cities, what you can do. I think when the lockdown is off and many people wants to have a wellness experience and sort of work on get necessary support and you know, physical health to the mental health and emotional health. So make a necessary transition so they can truly emerge better version of themselves. I think many people are also questioning what is this deep spiritual message of COVID-19, you know, because if you really truly connect with this and you can really move on, I think Sri Lanka could be a very good destination for this type of travelers who are seeking next few months. And
Sam, we just kind of lost you at the latter part of the conversation. Would you unmute? Okay, till Sam comes back, can I ask Stella, how do you see the travelers' behavior shift during the pandemic? There's a lot of talk going on immunity enhancing retreats, healing retreats, spiritual getaways. Especially, people are really concerned about anxiety and depression. So do you see a great opportunity in Sri Lanka as a wellness destination in this context? What are your thoughts on this, Stella?
Yeah, I think we're very early in the day to really see what's going to emerge from this. However, my feeling on it is that there are two types of travelers around this. There are what I call the primary wellness traveler, who's already very switched on to achieving a goal, and they're already interested in their health and from a preventative health perspective. So these are the kind of people who will go somewhere to only concentrate on their health. And this is where something like Ayurveda, you know, authentic Ayurveda can really help them achieve that. And obviously, you know, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but differentiating your Ayurvedic product from that of India, who have done a very good job of promoting it from a tourism perspective. So I think you have a great opportunity there with regards to Ayurveda as a totally holistic approach to being healthy, and it's a way of understanding that being healthy is much more than taking a pill, but it's, you know, mind, body and soul, and pulling all that together. Now, what I think you have in Sri Lanka that really complements that is the whole culture, you know, the softness of the people, the Buddhism, the spirituality, the nature, the abundant nature. It all combines together to kind of supplement the whole experience. And so I think there will be, I think more people will be aware of their health. I think also.
Well, we have a little bit of connection issue with Stella as well. Sam, you're back. Would you be able to add more things into the traveler's behavior shift that Stella was explaining, Sam? You were mentioning about a lot of people come with anxiety and depression. So how do you see Sri Lanka in our retreats, that how we can support this kind of new wellness traveler?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah.
Fine, we can hear you.
Right. I think, you know, I was touching, you know, people are going through a really difficult time and challenging time. And so these people wants to go to a wellness retreat and wellness journey and truly immerse better version of themselves and make a sense out of this crisis. And I think Sri Lanka could be an ideal destination. So these travelers welcome. And it's part of that. What I say is that, you know, we have low infectious rate, low death rate, and I hope, you know, UK will list Sri Lanka as a destination to travel, so we could welcome new breed of travelers, these travelers who are seeking some help and support currently, and also introduce the country to a new breed of travelers, and part of also to pick up the business very quickly, because I speak to travel agents. You know, I just had a meeting with my friend of mine who really work on this area. He thinks, you know, many of his clients looking a destination now because they really need some help and support. So if we can get this message that Sri Lanka is safe to travel, and, you know, we have low infectious rate, and also Sri Lankan tourism working with the government agencies to bring the certain health protocols, hygiene practices, and also travelers become much more safer. So if we clearly get this message, I think we could bring these type of travelers who are seeking currently. So I also want to touch on the trend, you know, because we talked earlier about Ayurveda, which is fantastic. And I also think, and the mindfulness meditation is a global phenomenon right now, because I will go to say that it's $1 billion industry, you know, Headspace and apps like that, you know, worth $1 billion, and they have a huge subscribing list. So I think, you know, this younger audience, they have a limited experience mindfulness meditation with doing the digital app. So they will be seeking a much more deeper, much more connection to the mindfulness, and mindfulness and meditation. So you go to a retreat and go into much more deeper experience. So, you know, our heritage, not just Ayurveda, also mindfulness meditation in our culture, you know, in our principles, you know, everyone meditate in Sri Lanka, go to a temple. So if we can market this to this type of audience, and we kind of expand our offering in terms of wellness, because we traditionally depend on the Ayurveda, it's fantastic, we do it as well, but I think we can expand it to the much more different offering, because I think if you go and market the mindfulness meditation, you are attracting much more bigger audience, and Sri Lanka is well placed for that. So yeah, that's what I see as a trend currently and immediately, as well as the medium term.
Thank you, Sam, for your this to Kimali. Right now, what matters the most is to gain positivity in travel, get the hygiene and safety right. There are wellness industry protocols. Are these relaxed? Are we ready to open Ayurveda and wellness sector from August, when is open for the usual travelers? This is a question that the industry is kind of concerned about. Want to have thoughts about it?
The airport opening was originally discussed to be on the 1st of August, as you know. However, that has now been, that decision has now been, we've decided to postpone it. The exact date has not been decided. The reason why this has been postponed is for maybe 2-3 reasons. One, of course, the main reason is that lots of Sri Lankans still want to return back to Sri Lanka. And the government believes we need to give priority to Sri Lankans who want to return. There are about 50,000 Sri Lankans. We brought about 12,000, and still we are still at 55,000 Sri Lankans still pending in the list. So that is one. Second thing is that when the Sri Lankans also arrive, we have to do the PCR test and also send our citizens to quarantine, which means again we have to do another PCR test. So you're talking about over 100,000 PCR tests for the returnees alone. So then there is also the issue of capacity. How much capacity does one have in the country also to keep doing all the PCR tests that we are trying or attempting to do. The third and more also very important area is that what's happening globally with regards to COVID and perhaps the possible second wave and the various happenings in the world. So with those 2-3 reasons, the decision to open the airport on the 1st is no longer possible, and the health ministry will make the decision when we will open. With regards to the protocol, of course, it is also already on our website, and there's a PCR testing requirement before they come. Anyone arrives, PCR testing when they arrive, and 57th day a PCR test. That will be outsourced. A mobile unit will be used, and to try to make it as least as possible inconvenient as possible. Obviously, it is inconvenient, but we will try to make it as convenient, least inconvenient as possible. With regards to the additional information we require for the visa, we are creating an app that this information will be got at the online visa process time. And people will be requested to stay in accommodation sector, whether it's 5-star, 4-star, boutique, 3-star, whatever, anything, if it is certified by Ministry of Health. So Ministry of Health will be doing the certification process. As you already know, from May, we started opening up the country. And now restaurants were open, now banquets are possible, and so on. I know there are some issues with regards to spas being opened, and many emails I have received. This decision is made by the Ministry of Health. So if you are the domestic tourists, if you need to get approval, you need to go to the local PHI and get approval for domestic tourists. But when it comes to international tourists, when we do open the airport, you would have to get certified by the Ministry of Health, who will inform us. Now, the process has not begun as yet. The guidelines are there. The final process note is being done. So we are actually, it has to be signed by the Ministry of Health and our Secretary of Tourism, and we are working with airport aviation and civil aviation. So there's a lot of work being done on this, and also the contract tracing angle of it also has to be looked at. So in terms of spas, please talk to your PHIs if it is for domestic tours.
Moving to Dr. Linza. Dr. Linza, I believe you're working on launching the wellness destination plan for Sri Lanka. Is there any progress in this? Is this the report that you mentioned previously that it will be coming 2 weeks' time? Could you please elaborate on this?
Yes. Now, the 3 reports you've already delivered, and the last one will be coming in about 2 weeks. The last one is focusing on the marketing strategy. This report we will be showing in detail what the new, we call it sub-brand of the overall, let's say, major tourism brand of Sri Lanka, so Sri Lanka. So we kind of created a sub-brand focusing on this wellness tourism aspect. And what is probably good to know, and I can say that already before delivering it because it's almost ready, is that the competitive regions, which we had a very close look at, not only for what they are offering, talking about Indonesia, Bali, talking about India, Kerala, and Thailand, of course, but we also had a look at how do these destinations promote their offerings in the source markets? This is the key important issue here. And what we could see is that there is quite a bit of promoting this and that, but there's not really brands out there that focus on wellness tourism. And that's kind of interesting for us. So in other words, if we manage after this fourth report now to sit together as soon as we can, you know, as soon as travel and COVID will allow, to actually sit together with Sri Lanka tourism. And I think the presence of Kim Marley today is really opening a new chapter, I would say. And we are really privileged to have the attention today and maybe beyond today to really get things done, because the next step obviously will be to implement all that and to make sure that we get in contact on the one hand with the stakeholders and convince them to actually fine-tune the programs we are suggesting to make sure that they educate well, but on the other hand, equally important to make sure that we actually get the budgets and get really on promoting in these markets. That is the key issue, and we will delivering very clear information about it, all the way down to a 3-year budgeting that we would need in source countries that we were talking about.
Thank you, Dr. Linzer. Looking forward to the report. And Hiran, what do you think travel would look like in the coming months? Which segments you think can come back sooner? I think there are like some information. There will be a luxury segment will come back sooner. What are your thoughts on this?
My thoughts, Nilusha, are very simple. As long as all these restrictions are there, PCR tests before traveling, after traveling, all that, there'll be very few who will actually travel. Once all these restrictions are lifted, as Franz was saying earlier, I could see wellness-seeking tourists coming in large numbers, especially during the winter months in Europe. There can be people, we should promote actually, for people to stay longer, maybe 3 months, 6 months. You know, we have immunity boosting through Hela Vedakama as well as Ayurveda, and our climate is perfect for that. So we should really target those who wish to stay longer, 3 months or 6 months, get away from the cold winter, and the chance of getting another infection is greater in the colder months than in the summer months. So that's an ideal time for us to promote to the Western Europeans, the Japanese, to come over here, those who are especially semi-retired or retired, stay 3 months, 6 months. I see that as an immediate possibility once these restrictions are lifted. Even with the restrictions on, those who wish to stay longer should take a little bit of a chance and come, because they can then stay longer. That's a market that I think we should really go after immediately after all these, madness is rectified a little bit at least.
Thank you. Thank you, Hiran, for your views. Stella, what are your thoughts about this? How do you see your clients' behavior would shift? And do you have any inquiries now that they would love to come to Sri Lanka for some kind of experience?
I mean, I think you need to make it as easy as possible for people to come. But I think more importantly, it's the marketing strategy that has been missing up until now. You know, I mentioned it earlier, the product is good, and your industry and your stakeholders in Sri Lanka are, and they can pull together and package together as it needs to be done very quickly. The issue is people don't know about it, and Sri Lanka has been marketed internationally very much as a, lovely kind of leisure destination. And, you just haven't approached this segment in a meaningful way with your promotional messages. So people just aren't aware of it. And, companies like mine, like Wellbeing Escapes, we can promote specific resorts within Sri Lanka and say, look, it's a great place to go to do Ayurveda, or we're looking now to create a wellness tour throughout Sri Lanka with a partner in Sri Lanka. However, without the backup with the big voice from the tourism from the tourism board to really shout about it within the markets, to the consumer primarily, it's always a challenge, because we're up against all those other destinations who have been shouting about it for a long time. And again, I come back to India. I'm just using India as an example, because especially with this Ayurvedic tourism, they've done a really good job of that, this Ayurvedic tourism, and marketing the right people. Like if you look at some of their marketing material, it's to older people, because, the younger people don't tend to have the health issues and aren't as interested in preventative health. I mean, they are in more of a quality of life, but it's when you get past a certain age that you have issues that you need to fix, So I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and I hear Francis including that in his report. So, it's really the implementation which is key. Coming back to your question, is there demand now? No. I mean, the demand right now is very much it's European short haul destinations. We in the UK we still have a ban on travel, so it's hopefully going to be opened up today. So it's very early to see that, but my prediction is, come the winter, there will be some great opportunities, assuming there isn't a second spike and second lockdowns. But assuming that things run smoothly, there will be great opportunities. And there's also the opportunity, apart from that primary wellness traveller, coming back to your leisure traveller, there are more leisure travellers who are aware of continuing with their healthy lifestyle when they go away. So these are people who may, want to travel around and explore Sri Lanka in its, it's with its fullest opportunities. However, there is that message to come through there. You have the healthy food, you have the nature, you have those experiential opportunities, you have the spirituality, you have all of those things that combine and create a healthy leisure holiday, as well as the goal-specific primary traveller options. So you have this depth of product. You just need to tell everybody about it, really.
Yeah, thanks, Stella. Sam, would you like to share your thoughts on this? You have done it a little differently at the retreat, and I heard that there are inquiries you're getting in, and there are people really keen to travel. Could you please share your thoughts on this? Unmute, Sam. Would you unmute, please? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I think we always have a different approach to the other resorts in Sri Lanka, honestly, because we're in London and we have a specific niche and specific market, and most of our clients are health conscious and well-being and their priorities. So we have a strong relationship with our patient, and they trust us very well, and we continue to work during the pandemic, given necessary support and tools to manage the situation. So therefore they keep coming back to us. If the situation has improved in Sri Lanka, they trusted us, so we could get things open up very quickly, and we have every confidence. And we have always different route to the, because I think many people touch as Ayurveda, which is fantastic, but I really think that people need to go beyond that, because mindfulness, meditation, and spirituality, Sri Lanka offer abundance. So we should really shout about that as well and bring into it. I think that is why we have been a little bit different, because we understand it's not about people's physical health, offering Ayurveda and physical treatment. I think we need to change the consciousness and behavior pattern so that they can truly have much more deeper connection to their physical health, to the mental health and spiritual health. So it become a transformative journey, so that they emerge better version of them. They come in and they make positive shift to their well-being. So that's what we approach in our center, because we can do it. We have 12-room property, and it's a small place, and for us is that we come from a different angles, the health and well-being of people's priority. So that served us very well. So like Hiran said, like if you can make smooth the procedure just to visit, in terms of the test and everything else, it's slightly complicated. I understand the country health is priority. So, but we cannot confidently say at the moment, because nobody not sure when the country will be exactly open, because if it was open from 1st of August, we had inquiries, we can get going, but at the moment we are on hold because we need to have very clear message, and because we have a very good relationship, I don't want to send a wrong signal, so we're just holding back these people to come to Sri Lanka until we have a very clear message from the country, and so that we can work together. Yusha, thank you.
Going to direct one of these questions. Many questions are coming on regarding Ayurveda, and there is a question for Kimali and Hiran asking what would be the marketing strategies that Sri Lankan hotels could follow to position Sri Lanka as a wellness tourism destination. I think we touched a little bit on that, but would you like to share something on this question from a listener? Hiran, would you like to?
I can tell a little bit what we did in Japan, because we were quite successful in getting a lot of Japanese into Sri Lanka, into our Ayurveda pavilions in Negombo. Well, we as I said, we did have a small office in Ebisu in Tokyo. We sent our Ayurveda doctors together with our Japanese partner. We held educational sessions. We went and invited all the tour operators in Tokyo, in Osaka, and other cities. We had educational sessions, educating them on Ayurveda, what we offer, and there was more, after that we found once the tour operators were educated on what we are offering, we realized that the numbers were increasing. So if we are going to do somewhat similar, because we are not so strong in the United Kingdom, we are strong in Germany. That again is because people like Barberin, Siddha Lepa have done a great job educating the German public on Ayurveda, and that has helped us. Similarly, we did in Japan. So if we are going to do same in other parts of the world, we definitely need to educate the tour operators, because this is not very much an online business, because people need to have information. Someone's booking for 2 weeks, going on a health tourism campaign. They need to talk to somebody in their country and gain the assurance that they're comfortable with it. So that's important, I think. So we need to work with tour operators and travel agencies. And of course, once you get established, then you will get online bookings as well. But in the short
Sure. Thank you, Hiran. Thanks for your thoughts on this and all your contribution to Sri Lanka's wellness tourism from Chetwins. We are forward, and this is like the last few minutes of our webinar today. Meditation is one of the key elements in Sri Lanka wellness offerings, especially at times like this, where the traveler look for more mental balance and inner peace. We are inviting you to join on a guided meditation session to bring healing to the planet and everyone around us. We are inviting Venerable Nimala to be with us today to have this meditation session with. Waiting for him to come online. I think we have a connection problem. We don't see him coming online. Sam, are you there? I think we lost Sam as well. Meantime, would we be looking at some questions? Yeah, I think Sam is there now. Sam, we had a small connection with the Venerable Nirmala that was supposed to give us the guided meditation session. Instead, would you be able to guide us to end the session with a little bit of healing to the planet and to everyone around us? We have gone through a lot, and this healing might be really helpful. And Sam, would you guide us?
Can you hear me?
You're there.
Okay.
Can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be a pleasure to do that. I think it's a much needed now. So, yeah, let's come together all and sit comfortably.
Meditation.
And relax into the positions. Just a little quick scan through the body. Your feet is connected with the earth. Feel the relaxation coming through from feet upwards. All parts of your body. Feel any tensions. Just be tuning to your body. Any tension, any blockages, be aware. Completely relax into it. Let's go back to our breathing we did. Deep and slow breath. Just connect to the deep breath now. Feel the breath opening up into all parts of the body. So you're breathing in. As you're tuning into your body, think about what you have been through last few months, how you experience your own health, well-being, how you felt about your community, health and well-being. Really connect to that true sense of yourself, how you want your health and well-being. Appreciation that we can sit and we can feel held and feel healed. Compassion, love, and healings start from ourselves. As you breathe in, feel this sensation into your body. Now slowly send that thought to your space surrounded by you, the people that is sitting with you. And your community. Send that healings, kindness, love, compassion to everyone that is tuning in today, here with us, every part of the planet. We collectively spread that thoughts wherever you are, into the community, to the planet, global level. Healing, kindness, the love, truly connecting to what this really means to us. Let's stay with that. It's like a big computer. You're connecting with every network out there, really tuning in and conscious level. Stay with that. Feel the connection to everyone, healings. That brings our community together, feeling happy. There's a new positive emerge from it. More compassion, more love, feeling connected. With this thought, slowly come back to your own breath. Feel grounded, connected to your own self. Now come back to your own breath, normal breath, and just relax into it. Just shake a bit all parts of the body and relax into the positions. That's great. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you very much. Hope you managed to get some great insights of the wellness industry today. There is a lot to talk, but with this limited time, these are the topics to touch today. We are having the second series of the webinar, which is on the 7th July, and the third one will be on the 10th July. You can join us and then be part of our wellness community. And I want to thank you for all the panelists for joining us today with your busy schedules and your valuable time. Is very much appreciated. Thank you very much. And thank you all for joining us today. And have a lovely evening and blessings from Sri Lanka. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.